distribution itself. So they give you the code and give you everything else, which is fine. But I recently had some mixed feelings about what they did with this project called Unity, which isn't exactly about Unity. It's more about, we own the copyrights of the, and they do go against the spirit of GNOME here, because usually GNOME has the copyright rules which aren't quite as compliant, which aren't actually in alignment with what Canonical is doing. They try the branding and everything else to distinguish themselves, and recently have been having even though I'm still defending Canonical, because I think people take things completely out of proportion and they kind of put at risk everything that we have on a desktop by trying to smash Ubuntu apart. But what I've been trying to encourage people to do is to just try something except Ubuntu before they just move to the next version, especially now that they make some radical changes with Unity. And I've been trying for the past week and a half, I've been using Fedora 11. Not 14, I usually use 14, but in this case I use 11 because that's what's used in the labs. And the impression I get is that it's not quite as good as Ubuntu. And even Fedora 14, when I did try it, it's not quite on par with Ubuntu in terms of polish, in terms of things working just right, which I'm kind of sad to say because I was hoping to be able to say, well, Fedora is just as good now. But it's almost there. The issues they have is they don't have so many people to justify the polishing of the distro. If you have, let's say Ubuntu's got like over 10 million people using the distro, they don't really know the real numbers, and it depends if you consider the server to be part of it, which you probably should, but they have lots of people using the thing, so they know that every small thing is going to make a big difference to a lot of people. And it's really a dangerous situation because lots of companies like Mandriva and well, I don't really want to name like Linspire and Zenrose because these companies sign patent deals with Microsoft, but all kinds of companies which used to have a fair share of users and could justify people investing in them, they don't really have a user base to sustain them. So what Ubuntu has done is it's basically limited the number of companies which can be viable to deliver, to compete, to distinguish, to even put pressure on one another, to compete based on what the users want. What we see now with Canonical, I'm kind of regret to say that, is that Canonical became very, very proud of itself and quite arrogant at sometimes, and they don't exactly listen to users. They think they know what's good for them, and they will try to preach to the users what they will use, and that's because they don't feel like they have any threat, because if people say, well, we are very angry at you, Ubuntu, they cannot really easily say, well, we're going to use a different distro, because it's not very easy to find something that's not based on Ubuntu that's going to work well with that file and going to be newbie friendly. I don't think Debian is quite so suitable for the person who's just moving from Windows for the first time, because I've seen what's involved in installing it, and you do require a bit of knowledge.
Well, here's a hot tip for what I think is going to be the next big distro, or certainly a popular distro, Chakra, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I've been very impressed with that. I looked at that quite a few years ago in one of its earlier releases on TechBytes, and just having caught the latest version very, very briefly, very impressive looking distro, very, I don't want to say Windows, but very user friendly-ish, very out of the box, and not so alien that people that were migrating from a Windows platform or indeed an Apple platform would find themselves out of their depth. So I was very impressed with that. That is something that I would hope to look at as well. I think that's come on leaps and bounds since the last time I looked at it. And what with that and Sabion, I hope I'm saying that right. I can never get that word right.
I think of both distros as being very similar, but one is based on Gentoo and one is based on Arch. Is it based on Arch, yeah? Both of them are trying to simplify something which otherwise is kind of a Uber user distro, and they try to exploit that and to preset things so that it's going to be simpler for the user to accept. As far as I know, have they had any stable or final releases so far? I think they had kind of like around beta or alpha or something towards 1.0.
Yeah, I think I would have to check. I actually saw Chakra running on a friend of mine's machine when I briefly went round his house. But the latest version, I've just got the page up. It's still in beta. It's 0.4 beta 2. is the latest release. That was released on the 17th of February. But having said that, yeah, I think I don't know why a lot of these packages, and this goes not just for distribution, but for packages themselves, stay in the beta stage, and they are fully functional packages, and I think they do themselves a disservice a lot of the time with these low version numbers.
No. They try to. One of the worst things that can happen to a distro like that is to release it as 1.0 now and to tell people this is ready. People will embrace that. They will install it and they'll say that's crap and basically publish a review of that and that's it. People will not want to try this. This is what happened with KDE 4.0. You know,
having said that, Roy, I mean, Chakra, like I say, I looked at quite a while ago, and it was very good then. And I've had, I'll use a quotes here, I've had distros which are mature and proven, as it were, in quotes, which have failed completely on my system as well. So, you know, I think, I don't know whether it's a nervousness by the developers to actually commit themselves to being a version 1 release. And this is not just distributions, this is packages as well. I can cite 7 or 8 packages that I've been using for years that have never got out of 0.8 beta 3 or something like that. And they've been working perfectly, and there's nothing physically that needs to be updated. Like I say, I don't know whether it's a final completion of the project and a lack of interest to increase the version number to version 1, or whether it's just out of fear that they don't want to commit themselves to a final version.
I think Google had the same sort of situation before, not just with operating systems or software, but in things like services. I'm not sure if they had search ever in beta, but just about everything else was always, even for years, in beta version. And it's a very convenient thing to say, and I don't think Microsoft is playing this game too often. It's basically say, well, it's a test version, or it's not a final thing. And that kind of gives you a defense in case somebody complains about anything in your system.
I'll give you, I mean, the best example that always sticks in my mind, and this is probably one of my big bugbears, this 0.x releases. I run a package called Lotter NZB. It's just a simple NZB downloader, Usenet downloader. And it's in version 0.5.3 currently. Now, I've been using this since 2007, and I think the only time it failed on me was when there was a power cut. My entire system went down, obviously, because there was no power to it. And it's never yet come out of 0.x version, which is quite infuriating, because it's, when you look at, you know, if you were to look at that on a page of other packages of similar nature, it looks incomplete. It suggests that it's not ready, and it's been ready for years. I don't know why it doesn't go to version 1.
It's not, convention is not very strong. Some people think that 1.0 is supposed to be stable in the first release, but it isn't a very strict thing as far as,
No.
I mean, I built programs before, and even when they were quite stable, it would be 0.2, and it was only a few years later, around 2004, that people had me realize you should really call it 1.0, because otherwise SourceForge is going to think this is just an experimental thing. So I just kind of bumped up the numbers. And did you hear what Firefox is going to do very soon? It's planning to have 5.0. That's right, it's 5.0 released in 16 weeks from now. And I think about 6 weeks later, they're going to have 6.0. And then they'll have like 7 and 8 and just jump, you know, through the numbers with minutes. It's crazy. It's just because Chrome gives this illusion that they have all these, you know, great features because, wow, it's already version 11. Or,
10, I'm 10 on Chromium,
I know, they have 11. And it's just, they can just tweak a few things and call it 11 or whatever, so.
I suppose you're right. I mean, it is a double-edged sword. Do you go with the convention of making your release a version 1 release and then have it cheapened if it's, if people notice that you're jumping up the version numbers rather quickly? Or do you stay rather modest like Lotter NZB has and say 0.53? I just think it sometimes undersells itself. Being shown as a 0.53 package when it's been mature, it's been ready for years. I mean, it's not a complicated package in itself, but I don't want to distract from it being actually fantastic and does everything that I require it to do. But it's maybe more of just an image thing. Maybe.
I mean, Chakra, is it Chakra or Chakra? I'm not sure.
Chakra.
I think one of the developers, and they were encouraging me to use that before. And I saw it about a year ago, and they have a very, very beautiful theme. I think that the best I've seen so far. Not just with they have a KDE-based environment, if I'm correct, unless they have some options or something like that. And they have a very, very nice installer It kind of reminds me of the SUSE installer, but it's not the same sort of system, but they have a very nice theme on it. So as you look at the site, at the time, last time I was looking at their official website, they just give you a very nice visual tour of what's involved in installing the distro.